So let's go over section 8.3. So this is going to be talking about entry and exit in the long run. So we already know the long run is where everything is variable. Everything is variable, so everything can change in the long run. So basically, whatever you're doing right now, right, that could change in the long run. So anytime I mention the short run, remember that means that at least one variable is fixed. At least one variable is fixed, like rent, for example. Now, in the long run, everything is variable. So you don't have to do that building. You can do that building. You can do that machine. You can do 5 machines. Everything is variable in the long run. Now, when we talk about entry and exit, right, when we looked at the perfect competition, it has easy entry and easy exit. So in perfect competition, these are easy. Easy entry and easy exit. So as soon as something's happening and you're like, I want to start a business, you can do that right now. So entry is when new firms enter the industry. Now, why would you enter the market? Most of the time, it's because you want to start a business, and business is trying to make money. So as soon as there's profits in the industry, you're going to enter that industry. And as soon as there's losses, right? So we're below the shutdown point. So you're making losses. You're not going to enter. You're going to exit. You're going to leave the market. So that's what would happen in the long run. So anytime there's losses, we're going to have firms exiting. Whenever we have profits, firms are going to enter. It's that simple. So what does that mean for the long run equilibrium? Well, the long run equilibrium works like this. If there's profits to be made, we're going to have firms enter. And firms keep entering until profits equal 0, right? So the break-even point. So that would be wherever the maximum profits, right? MR equals MC. That's where the price is equal to the average cost. So that's when you stop entering the market, is when you're back at the long run equilibrium. So anytime you have 0 economic profits, no one's going to enter the market and no one's going to exit the market. You only exit because you're making losses below the shutdown point, right? So therefore, in the long run, we only have 0 economic profits. So let's see what this means. All right. So if we had this market, remember the market is going to be demand and supply, and this is the price, and that's the quantity. So at this price here, because we go directly over, this is the firm's price. So this is our demand for the firm, which is also our marginal revenue. You're going to have a marginal cost. And then I'm going to draw the ATC here. Now, what's happening in this market? In this market, we do MR equals MC. We find the quantity. We find the price. And then we find the ATC. Okay, so what are we having in this market? We're having profits in this market. So what happens next? In the long run, we're going to have firms enter the market. And what do you know about firms entering the market? Does that change demand or supply? It's going to change the supply because you have more firms making stuff, so more supply. So supply is going to shift to the right. Supply to the right, we now have a new price and quantity. So let's call it P2 and Q2 because this is the supply. Now, what does that mean for the firm? Well, again, they're price takers. So we go over here and we go to the second price. So this point is the next demand curve. Now, nothing changed with the cost curves, right? Because you still have your business here, so nothing changed for you. The only thing that did change was your price, and that was because the market changed. So now we're going to do MR equals MC, and that happens right here. We'll find the quantity, we'll find the price, and we'll find the ATC, which also happens here. So what happened? Because there were profits, so let's go through the process here. Because there were profits, firms enter, and because firms enter, that increases supply. Because supply goes up, price goes down, quantity goes up, and because price goes down, and you do MR equals MC, price is equal to ATC. So now you have 0 profits. Okay. So again, the red situation where we had the old equilibrium, at that price we were making profits. This area right here was our profits. But then because we're making profits, firms enter, increases supply, decreases price, and because price decreases, we now have a new quantity. And because at that quantity, this is now a new ATC, you're going to have a new point on the ATC, and that's where price equals ATC, so 0 profits. When you have 0 profits, you are in the long run equilibrium. Okay, so that's how the long run works. If we had losses, it would be the same thing, right? So if we had losses, it would be a situation. Let me draw losses here. So if we had losses, what would happen is we would have the market. So we would have supply and demand. We would have the firm. So this is the price, same as the firm's price. So that's the demand. It's also the marginal revenue. We have the marginal cost. But now our ATC is here. So if we did MR equals MC right here, found the quantity, found the price, go up to the ATC, find the ATC, you're finding that this area right here are your losses. Okay, so these are your losses. So you're making losses, maybe somebody else is making losses. You still operate because maybe your price is above the AVC. So if you're above the AVC, you're still good. But other firms, right, they might have to shut down. So if those firms are shutting down because there's losses, then what's going to happen is we have less firms. That shifts supply to the left. So that will increase the price to here, P2, Q2, which now causes the price to be here. So that's our demand 2, marginal revenue 2, MR equals MC. Find the quantity, find the price, find the ATC, and what you find is that because you were making losses, firms exit, which decreases supply, price goes up. Because price goes up, it brings it equal to ATC. So then you have 0 economic profits. And now you're in a long run equilibrium. That's how it goes. Right? Now, what does this mean for the long run supply curve? So what we're trying to say with the long run supply curve is that, let's say we'll go back here, okay, where, oh, I'm sorry. What we're trying to say with the long run supply is this. is we have the situation where we're in the long run equilibrium, okay? And then what if we have a change in demand? So if we have a change in demand, such as this, let's say we were in the long run equilibrium, and then all of a sudden consumers' income goes up. So because income goes up, that changes the price. So profits will increase. And because there's profits, firms will enter, right? And then all of a sudden we're back at the equilibrium. There was no change, right? So if this is happening, okay, that would mean that you went from here to here and there was no change. What if we had a situation where, again, you were making profits, or you were making zero economic profit, demand were to increase, which puts the price up here, so you're making profits. Because there's profits, then the firms are going to enter. But now, right, you're now at a supply curve here. Why is the supply curve here? And this is going to change the firm, is because you are in what is called an increasing cost industry. Okay, so because of a change in the demand, there will be an increase in the profits, which will lead to an entry of firms, which will increase the supply. Depending on the cost of production, this will affect how much supply will change, and then this will affect the market price. So basically, if you're in an increasing cost industry, your long run equilibrium is going to change, because as you make more product, it costs you more. So you're in an increasing cost industry. If you are in a something like a tech field, right, where maybe you have better technology, but the more production you have, you might have a decreasing cost industry. The main point I want to get across here is when you're doing the long run supply, what you're doing is you have the original equilibrium, then you have an increase in demand, increase in supply, and now you have a new equilibrium. So see how it's going down? This is a decreasing cost industry. All you're doing is connecting the equilibriums. That's what you're doing. Okay? Now, as constant cost industry, as demand increases, the cost of production for a firm stays the same. Increasing cost as demand increases, the cost of producing firms increases. And then finally, decreasing cost. This is where the cost will decrease as you make more production. Something like a high-tech industry. Okay. All right. Now, that's all for section 8.3. I'll see you at 8.4.